I had a very general practice in a little bit of criminal law in the beginning, a few divorces in the beginning, but then I decided I would go get a job so that I would get away from those kinds of things. And so I joined a firm and practiced there in the general litigation practice. Just about anything anybody litigated, I took to trial. Anything anybody would file, I would take to trial, and I learned a lot by doing that. I was a generalist. I did things from products liability, other kinds of traumatic injuries, mass torts, on down to just helping people with red tape. And so I've always enjoyed that. And of course, the part I liked most was always the helping people part. But sometimes as you rise through the firm ranks, you get away from the people you came into the profession to try to help. So I do like mediation because it helps me get back to that and helps me see the results of some of the things I've learned to do now over these years of practice. My practice in mediation is much like my practice in adversarial law in that I take on just about anything and I don't have any specialty. Because I was a generalist in my litigation practice, I think I can be a generalist in my mediation practice. I know that's not in vogue now to be a generalist, but I think that the real skill is learning how to settle cases, not necessarily the industry expertise. But I have a contractor's license, so I do a lot of construction work. I've been involved in those kinds of controversies, trying to settle those before they become a real problem. And but just like my practice, again, I do just about everything. I've even opened myself back up to family law matters because, again, I believe the skill is in trying to help people resolve things and not necessarily in wanting to do divorce work. So what I'm trying to do is offer these same, highly honed mediation skills to the family law area as well. My mediation style is definitely evaluative. I've now practiced for about 43 years, and I don't know why anybody would hire me if they didn't want the benefit of that's come from those years of study and those years of being in the litigation industry. While some of the judges I don't know as well as I used to know some of the other judges. I've learned a lot. I read a lot about cases and what happens with cases, so I can be an effective mediator. And so, my practice now is one I very much enjoy, and I think it's the one that I was made for. My personality and communication style is what helps. I think that I've been in the defense rooms, and so I know how they're speaking and how they're thinking, and I can be effective there. I think my natural communication style helps with plaintiffs and people who haven't been subjected to the system that much because it helps them to talk, it helps them to open up and get what they really want out of this, which is essentially their day in court. So that they can tell their story, understand, get validation about their story, and then we can talk about, okay, now what? And that's when we talk about trying to settle the case and trying to resolve it so it doesn't pose a burden on them for another year or more. I get a great deal of satisfaction from my daughters. They are now 26 and 24, and we're trying to empty the nest, but it's a slow process. And so my wife and I are trying to adjust to who we are now as opposed to what we have been over the past 26 years or so. And just trying to do a few things around the house, some home improvement. Those are the things we like to do together. And of course, I like to play golf every now and then. I always say that the appeal of golf for most men is to see acres and acres of beautifully manicured lawn that somebody else had to cut. And so if I get nothing else from that, that's what I'll take from it.